Previously on Mrs. Meanie's Running.
Is that your butt?
Mind of the Meanie, Mrs. Meanie running, Tracy Roots got something to say. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, welcome back. Jeez, this is not for shrugging. Anyways, welcome back. I'm glad you decided to join me for part 2. Here it is. Have a good time. I'm gonna have to like take B-roll and like edit it in. We'll do that. We'll do that right here. So I really wanted to represent South Park. That was a big thing in my life at the time. And it was a big thing in WWF, apparently. Looking back. So I wanted to represent that. I also wanted to somehow include the San Diego chicken, which is like impossible. There's not a whole lot of merchandise of this dude, but I think that his feud with Kane was some of the funniest things in the whole wide world. So I got this, I found a Padres bobblehead giveaway. Well, it wasn't a giveaway, it was on eBay, so whatever. But I had to involve the San Diego chicken. I had to. It's funny because I just posted pictures of me holding up the vest saying new video coming soon, and like everybody was like, I love that Cartman is included. Yeah, thank you. Also, I should mention, if you follow me on Twitter, I have this thing where I don't click like on posts. I see them, I like them, thank you. I see them, I like them, thank you for the feedback, thank you for the comments. I might respond, I might not. I'm weird like that, but I don't like if you go and look at my Twitter likes, there's only a handful, and it used to be reserved for Stevie Richards telling me that he hates me, which was fun, and then he like stopped doing that. So if you go look, it's a weird collection, but they're very minimal. So I see your tweets, I like them, but I'm weird. So there's that. So, okay, we'll talk about the headbangers. So these nerds, I wanted to include these nerds. I drew out this art and glued it onto this spiderweb fabric. This is vinyl cut from my machine. It says real men wear skirts. There's glue over the top of this to make sure that all of the little letters stayed in place. And there's also paint underneath so that the letters would pop against those little spider webs. And I also, you know, when I sewed this on, the threading is very visible. That's very like punk rock, heavy metal, rock and roll, you know. But I also, let's see, there's also this lovely 3-dimensional tongue stud, which I'll probably lose, and I'll just get another one and stick it right on there. It's not really a big deal. But I'm really proud of this. I think this came out great. It looks just like them. I used to watch the pay-per-views scrambled. Like, well, I'd listen to the pay-per-views scrambled. And I would write down who was in the match. Maybe like little notes like who I wanted to win and then who won. And then I would bring that to school and share with my friends. Like, give the rundown on who did what, because like the internet wasn't a thing. Like, you know, if you can't watch it, you can follow along on the internet. You know, that's how I watched pay-per-views back then. Anyway, I found a note I found like a little mean thing written about the Headbangers, and I was like, I thought I always liked them. So when I was making this vest, I watched a lot of old matches. I watched a lot of old shows, stuff that I remember seeing live. And I was like, oh, that's why I hated them. They cut off Luna's hair. So here's Luna. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? So I had to have prom dress Luna oddities. She's got little sparkly boots. She's got her little magic wand. And she's also, if you notice, if you are unaware what is happening here in this photo, she's so unusual. This is the Cyndi Lauper pose from that album cover. And I just love it so much. This is mine. This is my original artwork. I love it so much. This was my mashup. And I think she's so sweet. And I love her. She's got, you can barely see, but she's got her little tiara. Ugh, I love it so much. But I didn't want to stick her next to these nerds because of what they did to her. So I also have this. I wasn't into WCW. I tried. I watched like a couple episodes and it did not click for me. And it didn't occur to me until very recently that's where, that's where all the guys that were big in the 80s were, like, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan. That wasn't my era. That wasn't for me. And it didn't click. WWF was for me. And eventually ECW. ECW was like a weird, like, when I hit high school, at first, like middle school, it was cool because like, oh, this girl likes wrestling. And then once I hit high school, all the high school boys were like, oh, you like wrestling? That's cool. You've never heard of ECW? You're an idiot. Okay. Who's the idiot now? ECW is my best friend. Suckers. So this gets included too because I played this game. I played the hell out of this game. My brother had Nintendo 64. That is one of the games he had for it. And I was like, oh, wrestling game. I didn't care. Like, I'm a button masher when it comes to fighting games anyway. So, whatever. So that's why that gets included, even though I wasn't really a WCW fan. Not on purpose. Just wasn't for me. Speaking of my brothers, there was one day, this is a fun story. We're gonna get to the grand finale. This is like the best piece on this whole thing. Okay? Get ready for it. So I was at the mall. So I was in Caldor with my mom. And we ran into my brother. He says, hey, did you know Vince McMahon's car is here? I said, what? He said, yeah, the cement Corvette is here. What do you mean, here? So I took off. I was like, oh, I gotta find it. So I took off. And I found it. Down one of the corridors in the mall. I'm from Milford, Connecticut. It didn't dawn on me that the WWF headquarters was not that far away. So for some reason they picked our mall to display this car. Like, anyway, I found the car. They had no attendant. There was nobody standing around. There was just like this cement-filled Corvette with like not velvet ropes, but it was roped off. And there was a little monitor, like a little television with a loop playing of Stone Cold driving the cement truck, filling up this car. Just so people knew why there was a car full of cement at the Milford Mall. So, and I'm looking at this car and I'm looking at the monitor and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out if this is actually the car. Like, you know when people are like, authentic screen used, but there's no proof. Like, so I'm matching up the splash marks of the cement on the monitor to the splash marks of the cement on the car. I'm like, okay, all right, so this is the real deal. Like, they would fake that. Like, what a silly, like, stupid thing, whatever. So there was no attendant. There was nobody there. It was just a car with a like VCR and a little television, whatever. So I reached over the thing and I grabbed some of the glass, and I've had it in a little packet. I'll show the packet. It's funny because I wrote like what it was. Anyway, I stole the glass. Please don't fight me. Please don't come after me. But I stole the glass. And I was like, how can I incorporate this into this vest, right? So I bought this. Let's make sure we get nice and close. So that's the glass. And it's cool. You can see like and this is two-sided, so. But you can see like the tint still on the glass. And so this is just one of those, it's called a floating locket or memory locket, maybe. It's just a glass locket. They usually have these little charms that you can get, like number one mom or whatever, and with all the kids' birthstones, I don't know, whatever. So I was like, oh, I'm sticking some glass in that. And then I bought this. This is just a regular vintage lapel pin, and I kind of hooked that all into one thing. So when I have this vest, I have actual authentic Vince McMahon Stone Cold glass with me at all times. And that's not all that I have, just in case I lose it forever, that, you know, it's not all gone forever. I'll have more. So I have some that is safe. No, you can't have any. But I think it's funny because I like Googled pictures of the car, and they used to bring it around to like Access, and somebody had a picture, I don't know what year of Access, but somebody had like a hard copy photo of that car, and it had no glass left. So I mean, over the years, like traveling, hauling that thing around town, you know, and then people like me, like, I wonder who else has glass. I wonder, somebody else had to have taken some, right? Let me know if you have some Stone Cold glass. Let me know down in the comments. Let me know. Actually, what's the weirdest, like, wrestling memorabilia that you own? That's fun. That's a fun thing to talk about. Put that in the comments down below. Also, I would love to know, like, who am I missing that I should include? Certainly The Rock is missing. Maybe the Acolytes can go on. I don't know. We'll have to see. At least one of them is cool. I'm just kidding. Actually, so when I got together with the Blue Meanie, and I had no idea that that even happened. Like, I didn't know. I wasn't a fan. Like, I had no idea that that incident even occurred. And I had no idea who JBL even was. Like, not to be funny, or like, if you look at what he looked like back in the day, and then like what he looks like now, it's not the same person. Like, maybe we can get like a Paul McCartney's dead scenario. Wasn't Ultimate Warrior switched out or something? Whatever. It's not the same guy. I'm just kidding. He can be included. That's fine. They're friends now. Let's look and see what's in my pockets. So, let's play a little game. What's in Tracy Root's pockets? What's in Tracy Root's pockets? Ooh. No? Whatever. That wasn't in my pocket. It should be though. So, little tiny harmonica. That's what's in my pocket. I like keeping weird things in my pockets, especially because like this, my vests are convention vests. Like that's what I wear to conventions. And I like having weird stuff to touch in my pockets. I like walking up to people and being like, hey, you know. It keeps me entertained. You have to stay entertained. So, okay, let's... okay, so I'm going to talk about locking backs very briefly. So, my Revenge, my N64 cartridge pin, I almost lost that forever at the first StarCast because it's heavy. There's 2 prongs on it, and one of the locking backs came off because I was using dud locking backs. There's like little plunger ones. They're like no good. So these, let's see, do that little thing that people like to do. Let's see. Okay. That's a little wrench. And there's these little like 2-part, they're like 2 pieces, and it comes with a little wrench. If you have trouble with your hands or with your eyes, you might need help because they are super teeny tiny, but they're worth it. My buds at Midcard Pins were like, don't use those plunger backs. They're duds. Well, they didn't say that, I did. But they were like, get the ones with the wrenches. So I got the ones with the wrenches. And so I like vests with pockets, especially so I can keep a bag of these at all times in my pocket, because when you're out and about, if you buy a pin out in the wild, you can just pop it right on. You don't have to go, oh, where's my lock? I can't put this on until I get home because I don't have my locking backs. Have them in your pocket. That's fun. That's a fun tip. I like to keep weird stuff in my pockets, but I also like to keep things that I need in my pockets, and I always need locking backs. Get into it. So this is my vest, and thank you for coming to my video, and let me know what you want to talk about next. I got a couple suggestions. One was to do a Blue Meanie makeup tutorial, but I gotta tell you, Blue Meanie does his own makeup, and this is not the Blue Meanie's run-ins, okay? So maybe I'll invite him on my show, but we'll see. So let me know what you want to hear me talk about, and maybe we'll talk about it. Let me know. Like, subscribe, tell me you love me down in the comments. It'll be fun. We'll have something to talk about. Oh, I guess I should maybe mention, not like it matters, but so the base vest is actually Harley Davidson. So this, the base vest of this was originally supposed to be my Undertaker vest, but Attitude Era needed more real estate and Undertaker kind of needed less. Like the Undertaker vest doesn't have a lot of stuff, but it's all like, ooh, wow. Like, you know, it lights up, it's reflective. It's scented. It's scented. I forgot to talk about that. It smells like a funeral home. For real. So, do I have my... Oh. It smells like a funeral home. There it is. Yeah, look at that. And it actually smells really, really nice. It's white lilies and mahogany. I love it. Seriously. Check it out. Go track them down. Find that company. Dudes, especially, you'll impress a lady. She walks into your house. She's like, oh, it smells like flowers in here. And you don't even have to tell her. You could be like, oh, thank you. I know. I love flowers. It smells so good. But in reality, it's a funeral. So The Undertaker has like, my Undertaker vest has more like wow pieces. So it's more quality than quantity on that one. This one, I'm not saying it's lesser quality because this has a lot of my actual artwork. This has a lot more like personal, cool, fun things. I love them both very much. I don't think one is better than the other. Certainly, I think Undertaker is better. But shut up. Rude. So there's a lot more people and things that I want represented on here. So I went for the bigger vest. So I guess that's it. I mean, I was going to do vest tips, but I kind of already gave my vest tips. I guess if I just do like, if I just say one more thing that could add to like tips would be, if you're going to make your own, sew it yourself. Okay? There's a million YouTube tutorials out there. It is so easy to hand sew. Use upholstery thread. If you have no idea what I'm saying right now, Google it. It's a thing. You go, oh, all thread is the same. It's not. Upholstery thread is the best for patches. It's heavy duty. Some people use dental floss too, which is like totally punk rock, and that's fine. But if you're gonna like sew your patches, use upholstery thread and really sew it yourself. Look, if you get your mother or your sister or your grandmother or your girlfriend or your wife to do it for you, you offer to pay them, okay? Nobody wants to sew things for you. Oh, that's not true, but you can do it yourself. It's not that hard. Like, don't be like, oh, it's for girls, because it's not. It's for everybody. Sew it yourself. That's my tip. Sew it yourself, upholstery thread, get locking decks, and have fun. Like, do whatever you want.
Tracy Root had something to say.